Welcome everyone to the Vibrant Publishers podcast, where we interview experts in various fields to share their insights and knowledge with our listeners. Today, we are joined by Dr. AnnaMaria Bliven, who is an esteemed author of our publishing house, and she has authored Business Plan Essentials, Entrepreneurship Essentials, and Time Management Essentials you always wanted to know. Dr. AnnaMaria has a deep passion for helping people achieve their dreams and work to produce materials that will assist them with their dream business, dream occupation, and dream career. She has an undergraduate degree in communication from Arizona State University, master's degree in communication from West Virginia University, an MBA from Colorado Technical University online, and a doctorate in business administration from University of Wisconsin Whitewater. Dr. AnnaMaria, thank you so much for joining us today, and we are really grateful to have you on the podcast.
Well, thank you for inviting me, Nicole. This is really a pleasure and a privilege.
I'm glad. I would like to begin by asking you about your background and the motivation behind your passion for helping people achieve their dreams in business and career fields.
Thank you for asking that, because I didn't realize until I got into the Army career counseling position and the wonderful moments of watching people take an idea or a dream and make it come true. As career counselors, we were there to make sure that all the slots were filled and all the units got the people that they needed to do the jobs, but we did more than that. We helped develop people's careers, military and civilian. And it was always a joy to watch somebody coming in who was a little bit distressed, disappointed, maybe even a little depressed, and then work with them in the steps of making things happen that they want, and then watching it happen,
Right.
and then watching their smile, and their feeling as though the burden of the world just lifted off their shoulders, and now they can really enjoy the life that they really wanted. I really loved those moments, and I worked very hard to get more of those moments while I was in the Army. I want to continue to do that, even though, as you can see, I'm, a little older. I would hope a lot more wiser.
Yeah.
And after I left the Army in 2008, after 26 wonderful years of service, I didn't want to stop making those moments happen for people. And so I just continued.
Okay. Thank you so much for sharing that. Now, today's topic is about the impact of ChatGPT. Could you share your thoughts on how the impact of ChatGPT on people's career, what impact it has had on people's career, and how this technology is changing the workforce landscape?
I'm glad you asked that. We have been slowly being integrated with, I call it the robot. It's generative AI that has encroached or enhanced, it depends on how you look at this,
Right.
our lives. It's one thing to say, Siri, go find me a pizza place. It's another when the robot is sitting right in front of you, virtually, doing your research, doing your writing, do your creative copyright, doing your, what you used to be in charge of doing, it is now doing.
Right.
That's not something that we were prepared for. In fact, when this first started in November of 2022, I thought we had at least 3 to 5 years to revamp our education system that would allow us to focus more attention on science and math and teach people machine learning or how to be prompt engineers, because literally speaking, that is what we're going to need to do. Going back into the day when our math courses used to be only pencil and paper, and when the technology of advancement included now a calculator, right? And it used to
Yeah.
be a separate tool made of plastic, but yet it could calculate simple math, and then it went to complex math. The math teachers were worried that now we're not going to use our brain, we're going to use our calculator to calculate instead, right?
Right.
And then now all of a sudden the calculator is on the phone.
Yeah.
So we really don't have to use our brain for anything, right? But we
Right.
made it through. That was a change, and we made it through. That was a technological advance. We made
Yeah.
it through.
True.
So for
So,
all of us that are going, oh no, what are we going to do now? Relax. This is another technological advance, and we'll make it through. But we do need to start thinking in terms of how we're going to make this a good thing and not
right.
a bad thing. Sorry to say, but millions of people's careers are going to be severely impacted. I can tell you a story very quickly of how I
Yeah.
walked into a Walmart right in Whitewater, Wisconsin, not more than 3 blocks from the university. I got my groceries. Nobody had prepared me for what I was about to see. I am used to going to a human cashier.
Right.
There weren't any. There was only self-checkout. I was shocked. There weren't any human cashiers. There still isn't. They've done away with human cashiers at that site. Now, when you go to check out, you are self-checkout. That's it.
Right.
That was a shocker. That was in January of 2023. That was a shocker. We're in for more shocks. And I'm sorry to say, most of us are not prepared.
Right.
But let me take this opportunity to let people know that although this is happening to us, we have to find a way to make it happen for us. And there is a
Right.
way. But we just have to think in terms of, all right, maybe my career is going away. Maybe I was one of those human cashiers and now I don't have a job. So take a reassessment of your skills. What is it you really want to be doing? This is where business plan essentials come into play. Business plan essentials allows people who always wanted to have their own business. They're dreaming, right?
Yeah.
Entrepreneurship essentials it goes hand in hand with the business plan essentials, because there are certain steps that you need to take in order to have that dream come true. So it's all about making your dreams come true. Or how about this? You were a cashier, but you've always wanted to be a lawyer.
Right.
So now you need to be meeting with somebody who's going to help you with the career path, which may definitely include getting a college degree, finishing a college degree, and going into law school. If you're thinking about being a paralegal, please be taking note of what the robot or generative AI is doing to the paralegal career. In fact, that goes for any career at this point. You almost have to Google your career and see where the future of that lies.
Right.
As you are planning, because there's a lot of careers that the robot isn't touching, not for the next 50 years. And those are the ones that you want to ask yourself, will it fit with my purpose and passion and potential and my preference? The other thing that I'm hoping everybody's going to do is, while you're taking your reassessment of where you want to go in life, is what does a day look like for you to get out of bed and go to work and can't wait to go to work? What does that look like? To love what you do and do what you love. Right now in my life, I am loving what I do and I do what I love, so much so that when someone says to me, hey, when are you going to retire? Because my husband's getting ready to retire. I have a problem with that. I don't know. Because how do you retire from a job you love?
Right.
It's hard.
It is.
I mean, I almost feel like I am in retirement because I'm not working.
That's true.
I want everybody to have that. So whatever it is your dream is it as another career in place of the one that you're being displaced? Or is now the time for you to act on, well, I've always wanted to have my own business. And so how do I go about that?
Right. So you think that Chat GPT, you think that people can use Chat GPT to do what they're doing, to make things better in what they're currently doing, instead of seeing
Uh,
it as a replacement?
yes, as a matter of fact, I myself, because my full-time job is a data analyst, and I am really embracing the um, the wonderful ways in which generative AI can make my job easier. Not that it's displacing me, but it's helping me do better in my work.
You could outsource the administrative things to Chat GPT and keep the creative things to yourself. Is that something you're saying? You're trying to convey?
Yes, indeed. But I do have a word of caution because right
Okay.
now in ChatGPT 3.5 is now evolved to GPT-4.
Yeah.
We'll have GPT-5 and 6 and however way it evolves, but it's not flawless. It's
Right.
getting better, but it's not flawless. So you have to be critical of the output that the generative AI gives you to know that it's 100% accurate. Even if it's just 90% accurate, you got to fill in that other 10% because you don't want to do nice work, work. So be careful, be mindful. ChatGPT 3.5 is like 50% right. But GPT-4 is about between 90 and 100%. But you don't want to do 90% work. So you can't really totally rely on the generative AI to do your job. You have to maybe like partner with it.
Right. Thank you so much for sharing that. Now, how do you think ChatGPT has influenced the entrepreneurial landscape, and are there any unique challenges or opportunities that arise from using it in the business
I'm
setting?
glad you asked that question because that goes back to the dream. What was the dream? What is the dream? There's quite a few people that have always wondered, what would my life look like if I owned my own business? Now, maybe they're going to step forward into that wonderment and give it a try.
Definitely.
Now, you can also use the generative AI to write your business plan. You might even get stuck in a way that you have a question and you can ask the it's generative AI, but I call it the robot for short. You can ask the robot all kinds of questions. You can ask the robot to help you even with prospectus. But again, you have to know how to prompt the robot to get the answer that's going to be the most helpful. And that in itself is almost a training course because you only get out of the robot what you ask from the robot. So you have to know what to ask the robot. But why don't you just read the books? Because Business Plan Essentials and Entrepreneurial Essentials gives you the information you at least need to get started.
Right. And that was going to be my next question as to how the books how your books would address the challenges and offer practical solutions. If you could talk about it in a bit detail.
Sure, I'd be happy to. There's different types of businesses and organization establishments. There's also the steps that need to take place for going from the concept to completion. And when I say completion, you're opening your door and you've got customers. So to go from A to Z, there's all that in between. So what do you need to do? How do you need to do it? When do you need to do it? That all comes in. But how do you fit that in with the job you've got now and the responsibilities that you've got now? Well, I've got another book for that. It's called Time Management Essentials.
Right.
And I invented columns and rows. Instead of just having one column with the time and another column with where you fill it in, there's more columns. Why? Because most of us have families. So you have family obligations. Most of us have jobs. You've got work obligations. And then if you've got any community involvement, you've got that too. And then on top of that, the dream of owning your own business or entrepreneurial endeavors, you got to fit that in too.
Right.
So in my book, Time Management Essentials, I basically have a method by which you can fill in time slots for each of those things that I just said that are in your life, your work life, your home life, your community life, and your dream. Make your dream come true. It's possible by just managing your time to make that happen. And so in Time Management Essentials, I even give you some little bit of stories to show you how lessons were learned, sometimes the hard way.
Yeah. So learning from the wisdom.
Yes.
All right. Thank you for that information. Now, as someone with an extensive education and experience, how do you see the role of education evolving in the light of AI and ChatGPT?
I'm very glad you asked that question, because going back to November of 2022 and December of 2022, when I thought that we had maybe 3 to 5 years before the robot was actually in full motion doing what it is doing today, I was wrong. We probably had 3 to 5 weeks, maybe not even 3 to 5 months, because things rolled out that quickly. That only made me look more critically at what it is that we are teaching K through 12. And I became extremely concerned.
Right.
Because we really do need to revamp our K through 12. And then we need to take another look at what we're teaching in college and make it so that we are integrating the use of the robot K through 12 and higher education. If we're really serious about moving forward with what's in front of us, because that Pandora is out of the box.
True.
We have to now seriously reassess the education for K through 12, higher education. There's a whole bunch of debate going on with the value of a higher education degree. I don't know what more I could say about that, except where you land in your career path determines whether or not you really do need college. And if you do need college, you need to be prepared to be in college, but what happens after college, and that is the workforce. The higher level workforce, the higher level critical thinking, the higher level critical and analytical thinking, problem solving, decision making, all of that now is higher level. If you can achieve that education on your own after K through 12, go for it. But if you can't, if you're going into a career path where you do need that higher level education that's going to give you the experience necessary to make it successful in the workforce that is now partnering with the robot, then find a way to go to college.
Yeah.
Right?
Right. That's right. So, what are some of the potential ethical concerns or considerations that individuals or organizations should be mindful of when using AI or ChatGPT? Because now it's not that the companies can ignore ChatGPT. it is a part of our lives whether we want it or not. So what are some of the ethical concerns that you could share with us?
I'm glad you said that, because first of all, I want to make everyone understand that when I wrote the books, and Vibrant Publishers knows the dates by which these books were written, it was before the robot even came into play in the way that it is today. So I guarantee that everything that's written in all of my books came from me. The robot had nothing to do with it. But moving forward, as I was saying before, we do need to figure out a way to integrate the use of what the robot can help us do so that we are doing a better job. So I, as an author, want to do a better job, and I am going to use the robot moving forward, but I'm going to do it ethically.
Right.
First of all, I told my students this too. If you're going to go to the robot for help, first of all, use it as you would a Google search. It's a tool. It's a tool for thinking. It's a tool for researching. Sometimes when I prompt the robot for something, I then get some other ideas. And that gives me more ideas and more questions and more queries. And then I make an aggregated conclusion based on all that I've learned. So we can learn a lot from the robot, from using the robot. But now if you use any of that information directly from the robot and not a source that the robot leads you to. So for example, let me say this. I asked the robot a question. The output says you can find this in Forbes. Then I go to Forbes.
Right.
When I go to Forbes and I'm using that information, I cite Forbes. However, if I were to use that information directly from the robot, I cite the robot.
Right.
And there's definitely ways to do that through APA, MLA, English, all the different formats now have an ethical way from you to say to your readers, to your teachers, whoever it is that's going to be receiving the research report or whatever report, even an employer, where did you get this information kind of thing. You cite the robot if that's where the information came from. But the robot could lead you to a place like Forbes, like Business Review, Harvard Business Review, wherever it may lead you. That's where you would get your information, and you're being, and then you cite accordingly.
Right.
Ethically, if you are using the robot for music, for copyright, for even data analyzing, you cite it. You simply cite it.
So now, with the integration of ChatGPT, what is your advice, or if you could provide some skills or competencies to professionals and students that they can use to develop and thrive in this new environment?
Oh, wow. We all have to become at some stage prompt engineers.
Okay.
We have to know how to engage with the robot in a way that helps us.
Yeah, that's a good point. Everyone has to have that skill with them, knowing how to use the right prompts.
And you don't have to pay a college to learn it. There's LinkedIn Learning. There's YouTube. There's all different ways that you can learn from those that have learned and mastered this skill. It's a skill.
Right.
It's now a skill. No, it's just, all of us became typists when the internet came with keyboards.
Right.
If you didn't know how to type, you do now in some way, shape, or form. Why? You had to adapt to your technology. This is no different. It's not learning how to type this time. It's learning how to ask the robot the right question to get the right output. That's the most helpful. If you don't, then you're still going to be in the dark of what it is that you were asking the robot for in the first place. It can only be as helpful to you as you are allowing it to be, and you can only allow it to be as helpful knowing how to ask for the help.
I think the points that you've shared gives a lot of clarity to the students and the professional, and helps them embrace this new AI and ChatGPT, the age of AI and ChatGPT very well. So thank you so much for sharing your insights on this topic. Now I would like to talk to you about, ask you questions about your writing process and your experience as an author. So if you could tell me, what were some of the challenges you encountered during your writing process and how you overcame them?
Thank you for asking for that, because I know a lot of people also dreamed about writing a book.
Yeah.
So again, this comes along with fulfilling dreams.
Right.
If you happen to have a dream of being an author, my advice is to go someplace and go for a walk along a beach, in the woods. Some men and women think best when they are even shopping. Go somewhere where you can get away from your obligations. I mean, even go on vacation, go to retreat, go anywhere it takes for you to just empty your mind of everything. So let's say, for example, it is a beach walk or walk along the shore. Okay. Take some time to breathe. Take some time to just be. Then focus your attention on your dream. Your dream to write. Then visualize someone reading what you wrote. What are they reading? That's when you then go to your lawn chair or your beach chair and get either your computer out, or some people still write in notebooks, a table of contents. And that table of contents becomes your outline for what you write. And then some writers are so disciplined, they say, okay, from 9 to 11 or 9 to noon, I'm going to sit down every day and I'm going to write my book. I did not do that. I could not do that because, that time management method that I wrote about, that's what I had to use.
Could you share that in detail, how you use that?
Sure. I am a mother, grandmother, and great-grandmother, and a wife of my soulmate. So I have all of those family responsibilities. I have a full-time job. So I have all of that going on. Right. In addition to that, you are hearing from an entrepreneur. Yeah. I am a business owner and I lead an organization. So I have a nonprofit and a for-profit. And I have a team on both sides of this. So it's not just me that's, driving the train. But that takes management, and that takes time management, and then the book.
Right.
But then I also, for the last 2 years, in the work category, taught classes, undergraduate business classes. So believe me, when I made that time management method, I was the first to use it. I had to be. Okay. So in my writing process, I literally fit it in my time management matrix, and I stuck to that. So was it an hour a day? Sometimes an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. Sometimes on the weekend, it was 2 hours. But definitely before I wrote all of those books, I took a walk. Okay. And then after the walk, I had it in my mind what it is that I wanted the readers to read. And then I produced a table of contents. And from there, I wrote accordingly. But I also included research because, yes, I'm a smart person, but I'm not the smart person, the smartest person on the planet. So I reached out to doing research to find out from other folks and included that and cited that in my book. That's what I did.
Right. So would you say that one has to experiment and find what's comfortable to them and what gets them into the flow?
Yeah, that's exactly right. But I do really strongly recommend that the author take some time for themselves.
Right. That's right. Thank you so much for sharing the strategies. Now, uh, I would like to ask you of your experience working with vibrant publishers.
Okay. For the most part, it's been an incredibly pleasurable experience working with vibrant publishers. You guys are expert at what you do, and I really rely on that, and I really appreciate it too.
Thank you so much.
Before having the privilege and pleasure of meeting up with you, I self-published. And self-publishing and working with a publisher are two different worlds. And to be honest with you, I very much more appreciate working in your world because of the excellent product that we partnering produced.
Right.
And I'm very grateful.
Thank you so much for those kind words. And thank you for taking out the time to join us today and sharing your valuable insights on the world of AI and ChatGPT. And we wish you all the best for your upcoming projects. And we really look forward to publishing more books with you in the future.
And I with you. Thank you.
And to our listeners, thank you for tuning in. And we hope you found the podcast informative and insightful. Thank you so much, Dr. AnnaMaria.
Thanks for inviting me.